Hi, how's it going? Today we are gonna talk about the scales we use to improvise in the major chord. But I beg you, don't stop this video because I want to give you new information. I think most of the musicians know, the improviser musicians know what they can do in a major scale, but I'm gonna talk a little about this obvious information, but I will try to give you some different and non-intuitive information. Alright? So, for who doesn't know this channel is about playing Brazilian music, the accent, the details, the different styles, and the grooves, and all that you need to know to play Brazilian music in an authentic way for melodic and harmonic instruments. Alright? So let's go some seconds to the obvious information. Alright? I'm gonna give you an example in C major. C major 7 we can use to improvise. The C major scale, in this scale it's interesting because if you are playing forró, for example, or baião, that are northeast styles, we can do phrases that uses the 4th grade. So when I was trying to develop my ability to play the Brazilian music, I didn't know that the 4th was an interesting note for the scale. I have heard in theory classes of music and harmony classes that the 4th was an avoided note, and I started to avoid even in the phrases. I used more the scale without the 4th. That phrases that used the 4th to create interest. If you play jazz and blues, you know phrases with the 4th that sound strong. Let me just give an example. Note is very interesting and doesn't need to be avoided. We have you have to resolve it, but it sounds good. And baião also we have this interesting note. Another thing about baião that it happens in Brazilian music is that we can create contrast between the 4th and the augmented 4th, or we can call 11th also. It's the same note, the 4th of the scale. Alright? If you have doubts about the tensions, just write on the comments. I'm gonna answer questions about it, right? In baião we can create and use similar phrases with the contrast of this note. that how interesting it sounds when we, because there are some older Brazilian musicians that uses in Baião, in the whole phrasing they use just the sharp 11th or the sharp 4th. But it's interesting when you change this note. Sometimes the phrase with the perfect 4th, and sometimes the phrase with the sharp 4th. All right, let me do a little more. I've done about the minor scales, I told about the capability of a scale generates the sensations of some chords when you are inside a pedal of a tonality. If you don't know what is a pedal, some people some people that doesn't know a lot of harmonic stuff doesn't know what is a pedal and mixtures with the concept of the pedal of the piano. But I'm telling you of the pedal points of the harmony. Pedal points is when you have some progression, harmonic progression with the same bass note. You put just one bass note for example, you have a bassist playing just the note C, and you have another musicians changing the chords. So you create this sensation. One example of pedal point that I remind here in Brazilian music, just to we have in the song Waters of March or Águas de Março. What is the melody? Waters of March happens with normal chords. That it's different because the bass is always the same note. This is a pedal point, alright? And with these pedal points that happens a lot on the Northeast Brazilian music, we can create that sensation of changing chords, but just with the melody. So when we emphasize some arpeggios, note that I create the sensation. Just with one bass. change for the scale that has the F sharp on it, we can create this new chord. So we can alternate between these scales and create some different sensations. This is a very interesting thing that happens on major scales in the Northeast Brazilian music. Alright, I told you that it wasn't an obvious subject, alright, and I remind these details that I extended the subject for more time. But besides these questions, these issues, we have in issues no, but these elements we have in the major scales, we can create some other contexts. Everybody talks about the major scale and the leading scale. I tell you, I think it's interesting when we think that Ionian mode. I don't know how the pronounce is, but it's Ionian or Ionian. I'm not sure. And because we start to explore this forbidden notes that it's like the F I said. That is an interesting chord if you play piano or harmonic instruments. That is the major chord add fourth. It's a very beautiful chord, and I don't know what musical theory said that this chord is forbidden. There is a composer here in Brazil called Breno Ruiz that he uses a lot of this chord in his compositions. He uses in interesting places of his songs. Returning to the major scale, we have one scale besides the Lydian scale that I think everybody knows, but if you don't know the Lydian scale that I've told with the sharp fourth, I'm gonna tell more about it, alright, no problem. But there is the major harmonic scale. Let me... Some of you can ask me, but when I'm gonna use this? And you can use to create tension in your improvise. You can take when we are searching for new scales, I always think that we are searching for exotic sounds. So if you want to find something new in your improvise, you are a lot of chorus improvising and you want to increase to create new ideas. This is the scale. I had done a lot of lives about using that theme of the pianist César Camargo Mariano. playing the theme Mr. Junior, and it has an harmony, for example, in an E minor 7 and C major. Let's use just these two chords. It fits very much the Lydian scale here in this C major. But to change, to create new sensations and new feelings. That are starting on this in improvise, you are studying for the first time, learning here with the classes, I don't recommend you improvising and some exotic scales. I think that you have to try first with the common ones. That would be the major scale or the Lydian scale, alright? But if you are searching for new sounds for your playing, try to explore. And I have one scale that I would like to talk about here. That is the main subject of today. I'm gonna study it here. I don't use it so much, but it's very interesting, the sound. We are in this progression with the minor, and let's go to the C major, but with a triad of B. This chord is very interesting, dissonant, but it has a strong soul. Just to start the study of this scale, I'm just thinking first. I just improvise using the arpeggio of B, the arpeggio of the 7th. Look how strong it is. All right, some of you can think it's ugly, this sound, but during my studies, I've changed a lot of my concept of ugly, because music, I think, music is about contrast, and sometimes the ear is not more paying attention what's happening, and you give a new information full of tensions that can resolve in another sound, and it seems like the ear turns on when it hears a very different sound like that. And what is the scale? What is this scale? before saying the name, this chord is a chord of C major 7 with the sharp 9th. Alright, it's this chord here. Alright, and let's see its scale. With the C, arpeggio of C and arpeggio of B together with, we can think this together, these two arpeggios, or sometimes we can create this, use this note B flat, that's the minor 7th, and this scale we're gonna have 2 7ths. I received one question sometime asking me about this chord, because for some of you the notes can create approximations to the chord notes, and I received one question asking me but it's chromatism, and it's more than chromatism, because you don't need to resolve the note one tone up. You don't need to do this movement, and that's what's interesting in this scale, because it has these notes, and we can use as note that creates the color of this scale. For example, let me improvise some phrases in this using this song. Some variation of this scale, putting the note A. It didn't have, because we just think in the arpeggios of the chords, the C and B, and in the other example I gave you, I put the B flat. A little conflict with the major 7 when they play it, but context for you. So this chord sounds very good. It's an alternative to the major chord, major 7 chord. And one thing I want to remind you, this chord is sounds very modern. It sounds so, if you have predominantly a sonority that it's more traditional, this chord can sound over, it's over attention to the context. So explore it, but be careful with the use. Try to search for situations where you can put it. Alright, I hope I have helped you in creating more information. Remind one more. We can use, for example, this concept is very interesting. I forgot to say it. We can think when we find when we find a chord written like C major 7, we can interpret like most people do, like C major 7 9th, but for 13th. But we can take advantage of the chord is written, doesn't say to you the tensions, and you can put your own tensions. For example, it's not saying what is the ninth, so I put the both ninths. For example, I created one scale with both ninths and the flat 13th, sharp 11th. I can put major 11th, perfect 11th. It sounds strange, but you can create interesting sounds, improvisation, and thinking in this way. Another example I have, for example, you have a chord with major 6th. When we look to a major 6th chord, in normal context, we understand this chord like a major chord. It could be a major 7th or a triad, a normal triad. But when if we use this resource I've told you before, the chord is written. It's not saying what ninth, what tensions I have to use. You can create tension, use the minor 7. It will be a strange note because it's not people are not waiting for this 7th. It's most of the intentions of major 6th chords, it's not being dominant chords. So you can break those expectations and create different sounding in the major chords. So you can explore your own scales and go to places, to musical places where a lot of people ignore or don't know that exist. So now I think I have told you all I think about the major scales. If you want to see me exploring these different scales, creating different scales, just write in the comments. I'm gonna have pleasure to help you in this journey. All right. So that was it. I hope I have helped you. And like I said, every day making lives about the Brazilian accent improvisation. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow for more lives and quick tips. Thanks. Obrigado.